The movie starts with David and Sarah arguing because he forgets her birthday. But that's not the only reason. They argue all the time. They fight in restaurants in front of their friends, inside their car, and even at the supermarket. Their relationship keeps getting worse, with daily arguments and constant misunderstandings. David tries to cheer himself up, and while he's doing that, Sarah calls. Instead of having a calm talk, they end up arguing again. After the fight, David decides to leave the house. While walking on the road, David sings, but no one pays him any attention. Later, he falls asleep on the couch at his sister Tessa's house. Felix, Tessa's son, wakes him up and tells him that his mom said David will be staying with them. David tells Felix to go to school, but Felix says he already went and came back. David is the one who overslept. When Felix tells him the time, David is shocked because he thought it was still morning. David asks Felix to make coffee, but Felix refuses and reminds him he's only 5. David curses, and Felix tells him to stop using bad words. Then Felix starts watching TV and dances the McGiggle dance. Later, David sets up a video game for Felix. Tess comes back from the supermarket and gets angry when she sees her son playing, so she turns off the TV. David gets upset because turning off the game suddenly might damage the hardware. Tess calmly tells him that Felix is just a kid and should not be exposed to video games too much. She then asks Felix to help her unpack the groceries and tells them they're having pizza for dinner. At dinner, David doesn't like the pizza and uses a bad word. Tess hears it and warns him. She tells him that no matter what he is going through, she will kick him out if he keeps it up. David asks what's in the pizza and says he doesn't like it. Felix can't eat it either because he's allergic to fish, dairy, and eggs. David makes fun of the allergy, but Tess tells him it's a serious medical issue. Tess then calls David Boo Boo. Felix hears this and asks why she called him that. Tess explains it was his nickname when he was a child. Felix starts teasing David by calling him Boo Boo too, but David does not like it and tells him to stop calling him that. Meanwhile, David tells Tess that the reason he and Sarah fight is because he didn't want to have a child. Tess tells him that having a child isn't the real issue, and that couples fight for many different reasons. She advises him not to end up like their father. Feeling uncomfortable, David pushes Tess's hand away and walks off. Felix notices that his uncle is upset, while Tess and Felix continue eating their dinner. Later, Tess reads Felix a storybook before bed. In another part of the house, David stands in the living room, listening to the story and feeling guilty. At night, David wakes up Felix, helps him put on a Darth Vader mask, and tells him what to say to Sarah. Then they go to Sarah's apartment. When the door opens, Sarah is with another man named Rory. She's not surprised to see David and calmly tells Rory to wait. David was planning to propose, but Sarah reminds him that he said he wouldn't come back. She also says she doesn't want a child, she just wanted love from him. David gets angry and uses bad language, which leads to a fight with Rory. Rory easily wins. Realizing that Sarah doesn't want him anymore, David walks away. David and Felix return home. Tess is worried, but David tells her that he saw Sarah being intimate with another man. Instead of focusing on that, Tess is more concerned about Felix. She doesn't want her son to witness such things. Felix uses a bad word, and Tess immediately blames David. She tells him to leave her house. David suddenly starts crying, and Tess feels bad. She changes her mind and allows him to stay but tells him to put Felix to bed. The next morning, David takes Felix to school. Some students make fun of Felix because of the food he brings. But Beth is kind to him and remains his friend. Meanwhile, David becomes frozen when he sees Felix's teacher, Caroline. David introduces himself and tells her that Felix thinks highly of her. He tries to keep the conversation going because he wants to get closer to her. Meanwhile, Felix falls asleep during class. Caroline notices and promises to give him special attention and care. One of the students who had mocked Felix stands up to get his bag. David, noticing him, kicks the door on purpose so it hits the student. The boy starts crying, but when Caroline asks what happened, David acts like he knows nothing. Before leaving, David shouts to Felix and tells him he loves him. Then Caroline continues with the lesson. After class, David calls out to Caroline. She tells him he can call her Audrey. She mentions that Felix had a rough day, but instead of talking about that, David shifts the conversation to his music band. When she asks if it's a Christian band, he lies and says yes, and also claims to be Christian. Suddenly, Beth's mother arrives and tells Caroline that Beth won't be coming to the next day's school trip because her older brother is sick. She asks if Caroline found someone to fill in. David quickly takes the opportunity and volunteers. That night, Tess shows David how to inject Felix if he has an allergic reaction during the trip. Tess seems unsure of David's real reason for going. She asks if he's going just for Felix or if it's really about Caroline. David denies it and says that since she's Christian and he is too, they're a good match. Later that night, in his room, David cheers himself up by looking at a photo of Caroline. During the excursion, Caroline sings songs to her students, keeping them entertained. Beth asks to sing the same song Caroline just sang. Caroline agrees but first introduces David as a professional singer. David confirms it, and Caroline tells the students to ask him to sing. The students ask him, and without hesitation, he agrees. He introduces himself as Felix's uncle and gives the students advice using a Bible verse. But when he starts singing, the students cover their ears. They don't like it. Caroline quickly stops him. Then the driver announces that the bus is fixed and their next stop is Pleasant Valley. Elsewhere, in the US Army, two soldiers are on patrol. They are aware of a zombie threat. During their mission, one of their teammates is attacked by a zombie. They yell at the zombie and manage to knock it down. One soldier moves to another area, but the fallen zombie gets back up and bites the other soldier. At the same time, the US Army goes on red alert after receiving news about the situation. Afterward, Caroline and her students arrive at Pleasant Valley. The students get excited when they see Teddy McGiggle, a star they recognize from children's TV shows. They rush over to him. Frogsy and Teddy perform together, entertaining the kids and making them laugh. Teddy calls Caroline over, thanks her, and invites her to join. Together, they dance the McGiggle dance with the students. Meanwhile, the students explore the valley, seeing different animals, feeding them, and enjoying time with both their classmates and parents. Suddenly, zombies begin heading toward Pleasant Valley. As they arrive, a group of Chinese tourists are playing golf. They don't take the zombies seriously at first. One man tries to take a picture, but at that moment, a zombie bites him. The others scream and run for their lives. Elsewhere, Caroline is getting her students ready for a short walk around Pleasant Valley. While she is counting them, David notices her ring and asks if she's married. Caroline says she's not, but explains it's an engagement ring. This upsets David, and he angrily knocks over a trash can. During their short trip, the group rides on a tractor. The driver suddenly stops when she sees someone standing in the way. She gets off to check. Caroline and David get into an argument because he uses a bad word. She calls him aside to talk and tells him that this kind of behavior is not acceptable. While they talk, the tractor driver is attacked by a zombie nearby. Caroline, not realizing what's happening, goes over to help, but she is shocked when she sees it's a zombie. She grabs a spade fork and stabs it. David runs to the tractor and tries to drive it, but he doesn't know how. Felix steps in and tells him what to do. Caroline places a hat over the zombie's head to cover it and returns to the tractor. She doesn't want the students to see what happened, so she starts singing a song to keep their attention. Meanwhile, zombies surround Pleasant Valley, and many of the parents are turned into zombies. David stops the tractor because zombies are now blocking the road. Caroline calmly tells the students that the people around them are just funny actors and that they should not touch them. She convinces them it is all part of a game. Then the students, along with Caroline and David, run to the Pleasant Valley store. But when they arrive, they find the store is locked. Teddy is inside, and even though he sees the students, he refuses to open the door. Caroline spots a small hole and tells the students to crawl through it to the other room. One by one, all the students make it inside. As Caroline tries to follow, she gets stuck. The zombies reach her, but they don't hurt her. She manages to get inside just in time. David is left behind and surrounded by zombies. He pushes one of them out of the way and climbs up to the ceiling. He then falls through it and lands inside the store, right where Teddy is. Teddy kicks David and slaps him several times. He even tries to kill him. David fights back, and the two get into a physical fight. Teddy gets furious when he sees his face is hurt. Then, from behind, David grabs his guitar and kicks Teddy with it, clearing the way for Caroline and the students to enter the store. David tries to call for help but has no signal. Caroline continues pretending everything is just a game. Felix seems interested, but Beth is scared. Caroline tells them they're still on level 1 of the game. Teddy suddenly says they're all going to die and tells the students that the people outside are zombies. Caroline quickly comforts her students, reassuring them the zombies aren't real. Then she turns back to Teddy, grabs him firmly, and warns him. She says her duty is to protect the children at all costs, and she won't let him scare or hurt them. She demands that he tell the children it's just a game, and he finally agrees and says it. Suddenly, Felix starts having a serious allergic reaction. He can't breathe. David grabs the injector to help him but accidentally injects his own hand. Caroline quickly decides to go outside and get the backup medicine from Felix's bag, which is still on the tractor. She runs through the zombies as they try to grab her. At one point, she's surrounded, but she grabs a shovel and fights back. She knocks the zombies down, cutting off their heads one by one until they stop moving. She grabs the medicine from Felix's bag and heads back. Meanwhile, inside the store, David and the children sing to Felix to help keep him calm and comfortable. Later, Caroline comes back into the store, breathing hard and covered in blood. She quickly kneels beside Felix and gives him the medicine just in time. Slowly, Felix starts to breathe better. The students notice the blood on Caroline's dress. She smiles and tells them it's just strawberry jam. They look unsure, but she calmly says that Felix is going to be okay. To distract them, she starts dancing and singing again, and the kids join her, laughing like nothing bad has happened outside. Then, Teddy hears the sound of a helicopter. He quickly climbs up to the ceiling, hoping to get the pilot's attention, but as he tries to reach the roof, he slips and falls back down, hitting the ground hard. He groans and asks Caroline for help, but she ignores him. David sees him struggling and decides to help. He grabs Teddy's arm and helps him climb back up to the ceiling so he can escape from the zombies. Teddy starts crying. He says that God is punishing him for the bad things he's done. David doesn't understand at first and tells him that everyone makes mistakes. But then Teddy admits that he has done many wrong things, like sleeping with a lot of moms and lying to people. David listens quietly and introduces himself properly. He starts to feel sorry for Teddy. Teddy then tells David his real name isn't Teddy, it is Nathan. Suddenly, Teddy sniffs the air and asks David if he smells something. Then he quietly admits that he pooped himself and starts crying again. Meanwhile, the soldiers are moving closer. They check the areas that are filled with zombies and decide to drop a bomb on the Pleasant Valley souvenir store, where many zombies are now gathered. That night, Caroline sings gently to the students as they try to sleep. Teddy sits alone in the corner, crying. Outside, the zombies still surround the store, waiting. David becomes interested when Caroline sings a song. After she finishes, one of the students asks her if there's anything to eat, and the other students start asking questions too. To keep things under control, Caroline tells them all to go to sleep. Meanwhile, the US military closes the road and Tess and other family members are begging the soldiers to let them through. The soldiers are ordered to shoot anything moving in the valley. Tess sends a voice message to David, telling him she loves Felix and asking him to take care of him. Beth feels scared and senses something is wrong. Felix tries to calm her down by saying a rhyme. David joins in, and together they say the rhyme to comfort Beth, which helps her fall asleep. After the kids are asleep, David asks Caroline how she became a hero to her students, but she doesn't take the question seriously. David then shares that he broke up with his girlfriend and admits it was his fault. He didn't want to leave his band. Caroline tells him that's not a good enough reason. David then opens up, saying he's afraid of becoming a father. When he was Felix's age, his own father left and started a new family, leaving his mother broken. Tess was the one who raised him, but he never thanked her. Caroline encourages him and gives him advice, helping him look ahead. Their connection becomes more friendly. Caroline also opens up about herself. At 18, she was on the wrong path, using her college money to follow a band. She talks about her teenage mistakes and how working with kids helped her learn about herself. She shares that her boyfriend cheated on her, which led to their breakup. She wears a ring now to keep other men away. David admits he's not Christian, and then tells her to get some rest. The next morning, the zombies are still outside, and the soldiers are ready to attack. David wakes Caroline and tells her he has an idea to help them escape Pleasant Valley. Teddy refuses to go, saying he's the presenter of the Nickelodeon Kids channel, so the attention should be on him. Caroline says they can't stay there, and David adds there's no food left anyway. David explains that he just needs Teddy to distract the zombies while he runs to the tractor. But Teddy refuses and says they should use his car instead, called the McGiggle Mobile. David asks what's special about Teddy's car, and Teddy proudly says it has a flap on the roof that makes it easy for kids to climb in. David and Caroline agree to the plan, though Caroline slaps Teddy. Before leaving, David sings a song for the kids, which catches Caroline's attention, especially since the song seems to be about her. The students join in, singing and including Caroline's name in the lyrics. David tells Felix to listen to Caroline and praises him for being so well behaved, then gives him a hug. After that, David and Teddy go to the roof. Teddy gets scared, starts crying, and says he can't go through with it because he's a celebrity. David reminds him this is his chance to make up for all the bad things he's done and finally convinces him to help. David creates a distraction by drawing the zombies' attention, and Teddy jumps to the ground. He runs with the zombies surrounding him. He kicks several of them, even the zombie kids, without holding back. He even bites one of the zombie kids and ends up throwing up. Meanwhile, David is also attacked by a zombie, but he manages to escape and runs toward Teddy, shouting for him to open the car door. Instead, Teddy refuses and makes a rude gesture at him. Before Teddy can move away, Frogsy suddenly attacks him from the back seat of the car. David climbs onto the car and holds the roof flap while Frogsy tries to attack him too. Just then, Tess calls. David tells her that she needs to send someone to help them, but she says the military has already blocked the road. She then asks about Felix. Changing the subject, David thanks her for everything she has done. Before he can say more, the phone falls to the ground. At the store, Max is yelling and tells Caroline he wants to play. Meanwhile, Beth tells Caroline that Felix is missing. Felix has left the store, wearing a Darth Vader mask and costume. He runs into the middle of the zombies, thinking it is just a game where they can't touch him. He notices a baby sheep, and while he's distracted, the zombies come closer. Just then, one of the zombies accidentally shuts a door, blocking the others. Felix thinks he used his powers to do it. Felix climbs onto the tractor train, heading off to save his uncle David. David quickly jumps from the car and runs to the tractor. Together, Felix and David drive the tractor and crash into the store. Caroline and the students climb onto the tractor. The kids think it's all a game, they sing and enjoy the moment. Caroline manages to grab her bag from a zombie. Caroline starts singing a fun children's song with her students. The zombies are approaching, but the truck they are riding in is moving very slowly. The zombies also walk slowly, following them in the same calm way. As the children sing with Caroline, they all notice something strange. The zombies seem to be reacting to the music. Some even start humming along, as if they are listening and accepting the song peacefully. Meanwhile, the group reaches a blocked road, where a line of armed soldiers is waiting. The soldiers have their weapons ready, prepared to shoot. The commander looks closely and only sees David and Caroline. Thinking they might be infected, he orders his soldiers to hold their position and wait for further instruction. Just before the commander gives the order to fire, he hears singing in the distance. Then David shouts that there are children with them. He begs the soldiers not to shoot and promises they would never put the kids in danger. The commander hesitates. His assistant urges him to fire, but he refuses. He says he will not shoot at children under any condition. David carefully drives past the blocked road. Right after they cross, the soldiers begin shooting at the zombies, taking them down quickly, one by one, without showing fear or hesitation. All the zombies are stopped. In that moment of relief, Caroline turns to David and kisses him. At the same time, a loud explosion is heard from the direction of the store they came from. Smoke rises, and everyone is shocked. Suddenly, the soldiers step in and take the children away for safety. Caroline and David are left behind, separated from the kids. Later, the military commander meets with the worried parents. He tells them that their children are safe, but they are now in quarantine to make sure there is no risk. He explains that it was thanks to their brave teacher Caroline and a man named David that the kids survived. He adds that the parents will need to wait 48 hours before they can see their children again. At the end, Caroline and David sit with the kids, singing another happy song. They seem more relaxed now, smiling and enjoying the moment. Outside the quarantine area, the parents watch through a window. Tess becomes emotional as she sees her brother smiling and finally looking happy after everything they went through.